what does Lazy Boy, Norwegian Cruise Lines, Ohio State, and ASU have in common? You're about to find out.
Get ready for the real estate show that takes you across the barriers and into the danger zone. That Bitchin' Real Estate Podcast with your host, Tenacious T.
Again, this is Kimberly Toko Tenacious T with some very special guests on 1111.
It's lucky, right?
It's lucky. And who are
Sure
you
is.
next to me? That's what that means. Introduce yourself.
Oh, I thought you wanted to hold hands.
Yes. We'll hold hands in a few.
It's a safe zone, right?
Yes. Go ahead. Who are you?
Jeffrey Serpa,
Yes.
real estate agent extraordinaire. Can I say that? With Keller Williams.
You can say whatever you want. This
Keller Williams.
And so everyone out there, this is all about inspiration, motivation. Talk about who you are. Talk about your business. There is no agenda here.
Mm-hmm.
This is having a good time and helping you build your business
Mm-hmm.
and spread your message. So we're going to do that again. I'm going to cross over and you're
Okay.
going to introduce yourself.
Okay.
Here we go.
Thank you, Kim. I'm Jeffrey Serpa, real estate agent with Keller Williams, Arizona Realty. It's our parent brokerage. Of course, I am with BVO, the Bloom Van Omen Group, BVO
Oh, yeah.
Luxury Real Estate. We're a luxury division subsidiary, really luxury focused in Scottsdale under Keller Williams as a parent brokerage. And I've been there since I started real
Yes.
estate.
And we're going to touch base because I did a little research. Did I tell you I used to be a private investigator?
Well, I was impressed with your homework and research there. You dug deep for Lazy Boy and Norwegian Cruise Lines.
Yes.
I'm impressed.
Scooch a little bit closer.
Okay.
There we go. When I did my research, I was fascinated to find out that you got your license in 2017. And we would have all thought out there by watching you and your magnetic ability to be able to grow and work with the BVO group, which Andrew Bloom, David Van Omen, they've been around forever, but it's fascinating to see what you've done with it. So when I did my research, you have a natural talent apparently for sales. Broke some records with Lazy Boy there, which you still hold a record. Tell us about that lovely record.
Oh, so exciting. So, Lazy Boy was my first. So I graduated college, Arizona State. Give a plug for the Devils.
Yes.
I graduated there at the best time to graduate college and enter the workforce, end of 08, 09. I had networked. There were no jobs available. All the people I networked with said, Jeffrey, we don't have jobs for ourselves.
Right.
So I transitioned into a adult sales world, I suppose, at Lazy Boy, and short story long, the sales record that I achieved. It's I'm still very proud of that. Can I be proud of that
totally.
still?
Oh my God, yes.
So on a Lazy Boy, most comfortable chairs made in America,
Oh, yeah.
of course.
I absolutely agree.
Never met a woman who likes a Lazy Boy. Guys love them. They're so comfortable. On the side of the chair, they have an arc handle. Stock, the arc handle is plain wooden, just nothing to it, right?
Yeah.
Right.
But you can upgrade the handle to a brushed nickel arc handle. Ooh. Really add a touch of style to
You
your
still have
Lazy
the
Boy.
edge. You still have the edge.
So
awesome.
we ran a competition on the sales floors at all the Lazy Boy galleries, and the person who sold the most arc handles won. So I embraced that challenge, like I
love
do
it.
so many other things in
Yeah.
sales.
That's fantastic.
And I put an arc handle on everything. I think I put an arc handle on dining room chairs. I put it on everything. We had so much fun with it. But I sold like 52 in a month, and I think the closest
Two a day almost.
almost, and I think 30 was the next closest one. But yeah, so they made an arc handle. They have the box with the arc handle. I think it's still down at Lazy Boy's corporate center in Phoenix.
That's hilarious.
Yep.
Love it.
I would say that you've worked your way up from arc handles.
You know
And-
why wives love those chairs? Because
they don't get out of them.
Well, their husbands sleep in them overnight, so
Yeah.
they don't have to hear the snoring.
That's called a CPAP machine. My husband has one of those. Oh, and whoever's got their phone on is that,
Not mine, not mine.
That could be my son's phone. I apologize.
Well, not
That's
mine.
the other one I'm using to record. You were also a Norwegian Cruise Line director. What did you do with Norwegian? I'm just
I was
curious.
an ambassador with Norwegian Cruise Lines, and that was a dream job, dream opportunity.
Pirates.
I think, yes, a swashbuckling pirate of the Caribbean Ocean and the high seas.
So did you grow that beard out? Did you have like the long hair? Did you have the rum? What was going on?
Yeah, lots of rum, lots
Puffy
of cigars.
shirt, maybe. Puffy shirt.
So if you've been cruising, and if you haven't, you need to try it. It's my favorite way to vacation. I learned that at every port destination, there's like professional shoppers that go because it's all tax-free, duty-free shopping. So there's a big culture that shops exclusively with high-end luxury goods, watches, bracelets, jewelry, diamonds, all that stuff, and other things too.
Yeah.
So my responsibility was to build relationships with all of the business owners at every port of call and create a professional shopping itinerary.
Yeah.
So when these cruise ship passengers came aboard the cruise ship, they said, Jeffrey, where do we go for the best deal on a watch? Okay, go see this person. And I would educate them on where to go, how to shop, how to get the best prices, and how to negotiate that deal.
So for those watching both live and that will be seeing this later, there's two things that stand out immediately just in the two little professions that we had. Number one, you're competitive, and you're going to sell the shit out of something until you win. And number two, you love people. You love building those connections. And all of that came into a perfect meld when you met Andrew Bloom.
Yes. I met Andrew Bloom. Actually, I met him probably 3 years before I ever got into real estate.
Yeah.
And Andrew Bloom has a huge heart. He gives and gives so much. We met through mutual friends. When I was in college, shortly thereafter, I was moving a lot.
Yeah.
Helping friends move a lot, transitioning. And I had the novel idea with my buddy one day. I said, gosh, we're moving so much ourselves. Why don't we post an ad on Craigslist and see if anybody else needs help moving? We'll throw their stuff. If it works out on a random weekend, we'll throw their stuff on the truck with ours and maybe make a few extra bucks as a hustling college kid. He goes,
Solutionist, folks.
Yes.
He's a solutionist.
So we did just that, and we got a call from a lady moving in Scottsdale from one condo to a townhouse. And a few days, the day before we had to help her move, she goes, hey, Jeffrey, listen, I got a friend who's going to help me move. Is it okay that he comes? He says he has a 25-foot trailer. He's going to help us.
That was
I'll
Andrew.
still pay you and your buddy. Is that okay? I said, well, absolutely, it's okay. The more the merrier. Let's get him on. Let's help. Sure. And then this guy shows up, sure enough, in a 25-foot trailer, kept talking about the Super Bowl party that he has and kept talking about real estate. And I said, wow, this is fascinating. He's got such incredible energy, great spirit. I knew I wanted to be in real estate since an early age. And I thought I needed to network and just meet somebody, and this was the right person to meet, and things were lining up.
Oh, was it the right person to meet? Like, I'm so, jealous. Early on, I totally wanted to work with Andrew as well, because he's been in the Valley forever. John, Andrew Bloom, you know Andrew Bloom.
I've met him. Yep.
Yeah, huge giver.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of people don't realize he was homeless. At I think it was 17
13.
or 18.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, yes, in his early teens, and lived on a patio, I think it was, in a friend's apartment. And he's always remembered that, which kind of brings me to the Tree of Life movement.
Oh, wow. Yes.
So
great transition.
through his giving back, he obviously, and you reaching out to him, groomed you to come into the business and saw a light in you, and I'm going to say a leadership in you to finally, from what I've seen in the years I've been in business, step back a little bit and enjoy his life, because he has leaders now that he believes in. And he shared the Tree of Life necklace with you, correct?
Yes. Well, it's hard for Andrew to really step back fully. He just loves what he does.
Yeah.
And I think that really trickles down to our team and the culture we have at BVO.
Yeah.
We have a special group of agents. I feel fortunate as being sort of one of the OGs
Yes.
on the team. Even though he's been doing it for 25 plus years, our team has really exploded over the last 2 years. I remember when I joined the team, there were 7 of us working at a different brokerage. out of broom closets and smaller offices than we have now. But the Tree of Life movement was really monumental.
Tree of Life movement. Scott was fascinated with the stories that were created by creating community. And his wife created a piece for him that was the Tree of Life that had the names of his children on the back of it. And he had a vision of why can't we share the intention to live in gratitude and share our stories with the world. And how can we do that? So he created a stick that has the Tree of Life around it. There are 22 words to choose from, and you put 3 or more in. I keep it at 3 to wear around your neck and live by those intentions daily, weekly, monthly. I change them out. Right now I have knowledge, oneness, and truth.
Okay.
And through that, we have been able to spread the message of we are all one on the same tree. We are the leaves, and our stories are the breeze that makes us all dance.
Your Tree of Life is fancy. Is that the gold one?
This is the rose gold,
You would.
which brings out the heart chakra.
Yeah.
It is a metal that brings out the heart chakra, yes.
Well, how fascinating it is if you have a chance to meet Scott or Marla Berger. I mean, they're incredible
They're here in the
people.
valley. John, I shared the Tree of Life intention sticks with John and Brian and Christy Culhane, Michael and Maria O'Malley with Scott and Marla at a table a little over a year ago.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
it really does
special moment.
make you think. Now, when you first get it, even myself, I was like, and I wore it. But something, when I didn't wear it, was like, there's something missing.
There's something missing,
Yeah.
right.
How do you feel about it?
I feel the same. In fact, I have mine on underneath my
Underneath
shirt.
there?
Yeah, it's here. It is. It's always close to my heart chakra. I have the copper one, which is
Yeah.
really cool because it will oxidize over time and change a little bit. But the way that they connect, you have your head chakra, the heart chakra, which I all learned about from
Yes.
Scott, and talk about, if it goes full circle with giving and receiving. I wear this intention necklace as a reminder for what I want to focus on. But what's really cool about it, when you embrace it, you learn that you're also giving and receiving to everybody else in
Yes.
the community. And there's people, it's not just in Scottsdale, it's a global movement, right?
They're in England right now at the
Yeah,
Castle.
Yes, it is global. They've shared it with the Pope. They're actually meeting with the heads of global leaders around the world to share the message of Tree of Life. Helps you remember to stay in that space, and for a lot of people, it's a miracle for them. It awakens something in their heart that hadn't been awakened before, and Andrew shares that with his team, and now so do you.
Yeah, Andrew, he recognized, well, they're good friends of Andrew's for a long time, and he recognized the power and the positivity from such a big movement.
Yeah.
And Andrew got one intention necklace for everybody on the team when we were first introduced to it, I think almost 2 years ago now.
Yeah.
And then I think everyone on the team still wears theirs. I wear mine every single day. I just recently went down to Scott and I got the copper one to replace it. I want something a little bit different.
Yeah.
And I love it. And I
work up to the
I have
rose
3 words.
gold.
Yes, I need to qualify for that. I have 3 words in mine also. And I think it's great that the words come, there's 22 words.
Yeah, there's
that come
22. I
pre-
have other ones in here, but they're kind of loose. So yes.
And you can also write your own words. They don't have to be any of the 22 preset words, right?
Yes, you can. You can write your own, but those specific 22 words, he prayed on those for a long, long time. In development, it was years in development. And, 22, 11, 11. We are 11, 11. It's the perfect amount of words that encompass all of the intentions. It really puts your mind into that setting so that when you're going about your day, you just remember it. Remember to take care of yourself. Remember to take care of your health, your team, your business. I have another really quick question I wanted to ask you in regard to living with intention. Having come from what you did, obviously sales and being in real estate for just 2 years, and let's face it, killing it. I mean, you could have joined any team. There's a lot of successful teams, but it doesn't matter really the team. It's what you do with the team and how you take it from there. What is your turn on in the morning? What do you do to set your mind, besides your intention statement, to move forward in that and stay that leader?
That's a really good question. I think everything that I do and the purpose that I do and execute on those actions comes from wanting to help people. A lot of times, being on a luxury team, I'll have friends that purchase real estate, or other people that I know buy real estate or sell their homes, and they don't think they're at a luxury level. And I'll find out they sell homes, and at first, when I was starting out, I took it personally, like, oh my gosh, do they not think I'm good enough to represent them? And I would say, hey, I heard you just sold your house, or you just bought a house. Why don't you guys use me? And they said, oh, we're sorry, we can't afford the homes that you sell.
Right.
So I began embracing what I learned from past sales, and then really, especially now, I embrace the mindset that luxury, that label, isn't about a price, it's about a service.
Yes.
And so I love to execute on a luxury service. And when I can help people at any level, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
I just love doing what I do.
Yeah.
I don't care if it's $1 million, $10 million, might get a little bit more excited, or if it's $100,000.
I'm getting excited at 10 million.
I love doing what I do, and when you have a team that supports you and encourages you, and you all share equally in the wins, you learn from the losses, and you're really in it to win it.
Yeah.
Teamwork makes the dream work. I've always said that. So just working with positivity, helping people, I love all of that.
It's the culture and community you build with your team, those you work with, and the clients that you have. We had Jim Dunning and his daughters on earlier, and it was very similar. It doesn't matter if it's a $200,000 house or a $2 million house. They're all getting the same service because we all give a shit that much. We actually listen and want the best for those clients, and BVO has been that way from the beginning. Obviously, they're super successful, but again, I'd love to see what you have done in 2 years to just put that belief on steroids. And I feel like that the synergy and that whole team has really come together with the things that he's been doing in the past 2 years.
Absolutely. And how fortunate are we to be in this industry where it never gets mundane, it's never boring by any means. Literally every single day is different. Every client is different.
There's a little burnout that can happen, but that's with anything.
Well, take a vacation then.
Yeah, exactly.
Sure.
Go on that cruise line.
Book a radio spot. Excuse yourself from clients for an hour.
Go on
or two.
vacation. You get really busy all of a sudden.
Go on a cruise.
Start a podcast.
I wish I was here for that part of the conversation.
Yeah.
It sounded like a lot of fun.
So this is Todd Bookspan. As you all know by now, I have a Johnny Carson style show. Todd Bookspan, the author of Win by Noon and Fairway Mortgage leader extraordinaire. Please tell us your thoughts on culture and community.
Well, I wasn't trying to interrupt the conversation
No,
over
no,
here.
this
I was being a spectator,
I wanna
but we
hear
were
it.
laughing about cruising. I think culture is everything, right? If you don't have a great culture, then no one knows what they belong to. I mean, for me, it's always been, I think leadership and culture go hand in hand. I think if you've got a strong vision and you set out what that vision is as a leader, and that vision is going to include what you want people to belong to, then it's easy for people to jump in and be part of it. If not, then they're going to kind of make up their own version of it, and who knows what that version is.
Yeah. I've had a strong belief the entire time that I've been in real estate, and probably through my whole life, that actual connection is so important, being able to talk to them directly. I think that's where the sellers, buyers, of course, they're always going to thrive a little bit. That's where we have the edge, and that's where we have the long standing. Connecting with each other.
Culture is incredibly important. I've managed teams at other jobs before real estate, and you can't hire culture. I think it grows organically, and the leaders in those positions really promote that, and they grow that culture.
They're like the farmers, and then they cultivate everybody around them that comes into that farm, so to speak. So
Brian Culhane is a big story collector because he knows, and I've said this a million times, sharing our stories builds community, Tree of Life movement. Community builds leaders. Leaders share their story to build a bigger community. Todd, you have built, and a lot of people may not know this, but one of the, if not the most successful mortgage business, I would say, in the Valley. But you wouldn't know it because you keep it so close in your culture and community. How do you take a business and grow it that large? And this goes to you too, Jeffrey, and maintain the personal touch with everyone.
That's actually the hardest part, especially when you've got different passions that you're pursuing all at the same time. And that's always where you start to see, the ripples in the waters if you're not completely focused on what it is that you're doing. For us, it was, we grew big in the past. My wife and I started with 4 people and grew to a company with 4 branches and almost 100 employees. And when that company sold, we said, you know what? We have so much fun just with our group and with our team. And really always the challenge then is how do you reset that vision? Because that vision in some people's mind may be smaller than the vision we had before, where all of a sudden you've got this huge organization and you're going a lot of different directions with lots of opportunities for growth. And then you say, we're just going to do this over here. And we followed our passion. And then you can focus on people, and then you can bring them into something a little different because it's yours and it's your baby, and you can continue to add the right people. Like I said, you can't hire culture, right? You have to build the culture and put the right people into it and see them thrive. And then you have to, where we've typically failed the most is in removing the people who don't quite fit the culture quick enough. That's always the other challenge I think that leaders run into. They think they can fix everything, and in the end, you really can't fix people. Either they jump on board and they row with you, or they continue to row the oar and disrupt the boat.
Jeff. Is it Jeff or Jeffrey?
Jeffrey.
Jeffrey.
Jeffrey. I've been called worse.
We're a tie. It's Jeffrey.
Yeah, I'm Jeffrey today. I have a tie on.
Jeffrey, tell us how you've taken that and, like I said, put it on steroids the past 2 years with BVO.
Right. Well, I love the personal touch. Oftentimes, I tell people I'm sort of a late adopter to technology, believe it or not, and I really see technology driving our industry moving forward for better. In my opinion, I think sometimes it comes at a sacrifice.
Yeah.
So many agents and teams, they want to implement heavy doses of artificial intelligence.
Yeah.
That's becoming a huge thing right now, where the computer is the first point of contact and interaction with the client. And that's okay to capture leads or capture clients, but then to carry on that touch point and that conversation, I think is crucial to be able to manage that yourself.
Yeah.
Fortunately, we have a fantastic team at BVO where we can all leverage different tasks and responsibilities, and because we all share in the wins together, everyone's more than eager with a hand in the air to help do things if we need coverage or follow up with clients if we need help with that. So, for me, maintaining that personal touch, that's how I do it. And it's so important. I get clients that say, I was working with an agent and he kept sending me listings that weren't matching any of my criteria. And I said, well, here's why. Let me show you how it can be different. Right.
At all. Yeah. Yes, and technology has taken over a lot of that. I know John and I do videos, and obviously through the help of my community and culture, Brian and Christy Culhane, that's why I'm sitting here at this studio today. Sneaky Big is huge on culture as well. They treat me like the VIP that I am.
Deservedly so.
Moving forward, as we're seeing this technology, video is so relevant, and being on social media, honestly, it's really, people are choosing us because of what we're showing in our lives, what we're showing in our heart. And Todd, Win by Noon, and not only is a book and a workbook, but how are you pushing your team to stay out there and stay relevant with technology, specifically in the social media and video world?
We're doing a mediocre job at best. Ironically, that's a big part of our 2020 plan, which is funny to say because I've been on big stages this year, including Gary V's event, and that's
Let's
it's a
pause
critical
that
thing.
for a moment. Gary V. This man has been on so many podcasts, and you've been in the room with like amazing people. So thank you for coming today.
It's my pleasure to be here. And, I think it's this whole idea of marrying technology with who you are, right? You have to get the people. We see it all the time here in town when someone would register in, an agent's online system over here, and then another one's over here, and a third one over here. And it's whoever can actually make that human connection and bring the person in. But in the end, it's some version of, edu selling where you need to let people know. Right, it's the whole idea they don't know, how much you care until whatever that saying is.
And it's a little different in the lending world, right? It's different for you guys in social media because it's really the real estate agent that a lot of people reach out to first.
Well, they want a house, they don't want a loan, right?
Yes.
They want they don't want the debt. The debt's just a necessary part to get there, and so a lot of it's the education piece because it's. The reason that people don't want to have that conversation is it's scary. There's something they're worried about. 17 years ago, I paid my JCPenney's bill late, and they're worried that that's going to show up and that's not going to get them a loan. And so it's just a matter of they don't know what they don't know. And it's the more information you can put out there in a different way than someone else is doing it, then the better. And I think it applies to all businesses these days, but especially any where it is difficult for most people to understand. And I think that lenders have the curse of knowledge. They do this every day. They think everyone else should understand what it is. And so they start rattling off numbers and, LECD, all these things, these different abbreviations and all these things. And the consumer's just head is spinning and they're like, click. All right, I'd rather just interact
Deer
with
in the
my
headlights.
Yeah, I'd rather interact with my telephone or with my phone, my iPhone or my computer than actually talk to a human and feel that embarrassment and humiliation again. And so it's just taking the time to slow down and ask the questions, get to know where their concerns are. The same thing you talked about, right? Service. It's not service for a small home or a medium-sized home or a large home. Everyone needs the same information. It's just a matter of figuring out which information it is that they're getting stuck with the most.
So with, again, building community and culture, I have built my business 100% on that. I've built my business showing who I am on social media, making the videos, always making my message very clear. And that is what's brought me my business. And that's what I see a lot of you guys doing with your charity work, your beautiful face all the time and on your page.
Oh, that's kind. People say I have a face for radio.
No, you do not. Oh, my goodness. So we briefly spoke the other day about some different things that we're going to be doing, individually, what we're doing personally to help our community. What's next for BVO? I know you guys do a lot of stuff in the holidays. What do you have coming up?
We do a ton of things around the community around the holidays. David Van Omen, Andrew's partner, is really involved. Still lives in Greyhawk. Lived there for 17 plus years. He's really involved with the Greyhawk community, the party in the parks, the community events, the pumpkin events around Halloween, and then again the food drives around Thanksgiving. We do a really awesome. We started this about 2 years ago. Andrew's been a big part of Phoenix Children's Hospital, St. Mary's Food Bank, everything here in Phoenix area for a long time. We started door knocking with tote bags around communities and neighborhoods where we have active listings.
So for the new agent, listen up closely. Door knocking with bags too.
I mean, if you door knock once a year, you're in the top 1% of agents already.
1/10 of 1%.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, those are better numbers.
So when you have a footprint in a community and you're already working there and your team is marketing there heavily, people recognize your brand.
Yeah.
But door knocking is something that it's really difficult to do. It can be a really great return on your time because you're getting out there, you're getting face to face. People are actually impressed that you're putting in the legwork. And try door knocking when it's 120. They're even more impressed by it.
They feel sorry for you.
There's no faster way to get invited into a house when it's 120.
I thought that's why you're doing it in the fall. When it's cooler out.
So we transition and we do that all year long. But in the fall, I love it because we have canned food drives.
Yeah.
And we use our open houses in those communities as a food drop-off. So it's a great way not only to give back to the community, but it's a great way to maintain community interaction and involvement and stay relevant in the neighborhoods that we're
Yeah.
buying at and selling in every single day. So we'll knock on our door, not with the intention of, do you know anybody who wants to buy or sell real estate? Because how many times do they get
Yeah.
bombarded with that message? But now we have the tote bag. Hey, it's Jeffrey, BVO Luxury Group. We have a listing. You've seen our sign just down the street from you. I wanted to come by today, though, to drop off a food donation bag for St. Mary's Food Bank or any charity that you want to help support. We don't even care if you want to buy or sell a house.
Yeah.
We don't care if you're not in the market for a house. All we want to do is raise awareness
Yes.
for the local charities in the community and help raise as much food as we can around these holiday times. Here's a bag. By the way, we have an open house, easy drop-off point. If you can
Yeah.
make it, come by Saturday from 12 to 4. If you can't make it, leave it at your doorstep. I'm going to come and circle back around after the open house between 4 and 5 on Saturday and pick it up for you. I'll make it as easy as I can. But here's the bag. The bag has our name on it. They load it up with canned goods. Or, better yet, they actually come to the open house. They drop it off.
Golden nugget, golden nugget, golden
I was
nugget,
going to say,
people.
right? Who here is going to go execute on that? That's huge.
Here's the thing that I took from being down the hall from Andrew in the very first 2 years of my career. I noticed that he did that. I noticed that he combined his marketing with giving back. And again, as an agent, that doesn't cost you anything. To knock on that door and drop off that bag, that's $0. None. Cost you
Well, the
nothing.
food bank will actually give you a bag.
Yep.
Or a grocery store will give you a
Yep.
bag, so you don't
Yep.
have to have fancy ones like you guys have.
Nope.
But that's much
you
cooler,
Don't, have
don't
to
get me
have
wrong.
The baby. But yeah, you can staple a little piece of paper or your card to that bag if
That's
you
a great
wanted
idea.
to. And when you do start making a little bit of money, there's the rule, put 10% back in your marketing. You can take it to another level there. For me, it could be dropping off gift cards to Dutch Brothers, and any cop that drives through, they can buy a cup of coffee for that day. I would much rather spend the money on giving back than farming with postcards. There's just a bigger, better way to give back and both make yourself known at the same time. And
Have you noticed anything special that happens when you give? What do you notice?
So I built my business on giving back. And the reason why I built my business on giving back is when I was able to put a foundation under my husband's feet again after we lost Jason through suicide, was the first little taste of joy, honestly, in 2 years. Of course, there's happy moments, but when I saw his face, sorry, you're going to make me cry. It was a place that no one could take from him and that he could give his family to heal. And that's what I wanted to give other families. I wanted them to have a place to heal. So for me, it's little bubbles of joy that pop through. And that's what drives my business.
That's huge. That's huge. I feel when I give back, I actually get so much more out of giving
Yeah.
than I ever feel when I receive, right?
Yeah.
So that I love that.
we are in a position to serve, and we should be grateful for that because very few get to love what they do, make money off of what they do, and give at the same time and serve.
I love the visual of bubbles of joy, right? We all need
Bubbles.
more bubbles
Pop,
of joy.
pop, pop.
But I also like it too. I mean, it's great to farm and send a postcard, but no one's ever, said, gosh, hey, Todd, check out this cool postcard I got in the mail. But if they drive through Dutch Brothers and they get a free cup of coffee, guess what? They're going to, gosh, guess what? Kimberly did.
Yeah.
Tenacious T's. I'm going to go buy a house with her.
Exactly. Well, and again, it's come down to in this day and age with technology, and everyone, that's the first thing they do is they're on their social media or they're, looking at the big Zillows or however you're shopping for your homes. They're no longer really connecting so much to a brokerage as they're connecting to a human and trusting that transaction to a human. So why not show them who you truly are? And if you don't want to show them who you truly are, then you better figure out why that is. Come talk to me. I'll help you.
Be
Thoughts?
somebody different, I guess. Be somebody that you want to show people.
Because I know Bloom finally stepped up and started doing some really nice videos a couple of years ago. You were in one of them.
Yes. We shot that video on an iPhone. shot, edited it all in house.
Doesn't have to be that hard. I
No.
mean, this is pretty
Right.
fancy. Don't get me wrong,
Right.
but it doesn't have to be quite
Well,
that fancy.
Tenacious T may be working on something with Sneaky Big to make things a little more affordable and still be in Hollywood.
Oh, no.
Oh, boy, here we go.
Yeah,
Nice.
stay in touch. But don't you find that when you share your heart on social media, you have so much larger in connection with
my
everyone?
gosh. Absolutely. People don't want, they want to be able to connect with you, right? And you can't just show a open house listing or just sold listing or new to market. Okay, that's great. But they want to be able to connect with you because people buy and sell with people they relate with.
Yep.
It's very much an industry where we're relatable, and people have to like you. I mean, how many times I've been to a car dealership?
That's my problem. They don't like me.
Nobody likes you.
Yeah, just throwing it out there.
The
I like
creator
you the
of
first
Women in
half
Strength
hour.
right there.
I like you the first half hour we've been
All right.
together.
Dude, all right, Jeffrey and I got two friends now.
I'm a horrible
Well-
judge of character, though.
So Todd is, and Susie Lavenda is the creator of the Women of Strength events.
Oh,
So,
wow.
Yeah, a lot of people don't know that, and I worked with him years
I
ago.
just said yes. I
and-
didn't have to do anything.
Yeah.
I don't get credit for that.
But it's your aura, your leadership. It's the people you surround yourself with.
Oh, it's the best thing that
yeah.
we do.
Yeah.
It's absolutely the best thing that we do. But I do think going back to the thing about your personality, I think most people are just scared, right? You said, hey, we filmed that on an iPhone, right?
Yeah.
It's really just a matter of jumping in and doing it and getting better. I did a video series for a long time when I first started producing, and my coach at the time said, well, I think people like it because you're not very good. and I always gave him a hard time about that, but I took it to heart. What he really meant was they like it because it's not overproduced. It's just you having a conversation and educating on something each week, and people really appreciate that. And even on social media, you can see it now when you go into your Facebook memories. Typically for me, well, not typically, always for me, the most popular post from whatever year it was is something about my family. It's something about, something somewhere where I gave back or some mistake I made. It wasn't about some success that I had or, some big thing I did. It was about something to do with who I am and who we are as a family.
So, Jeffrey, again, we're talking about, and the reason why I'm bringing up social media and bringing out who you are, because these are all of the things that brand new agents that have no budget can do. And honestly, this is where the industry is right now, not where it's going. That's where it is right now. On a personal level, I feel like, yes, we do need to remind them of the business that we're in, but I think it's more important to remind them of why we do what we do. What is your why?
My why, I think similar to a lot of individuals at our level that I meet in the industry, my why is more about other people who I can influence. So I have sisters who are twins. They're 7 years younger than me. My dad passed away. Now it's 9 years ago. So
Sorry.
being 7 years age difference, I left home to college as they were still maturing and growing up. And so there, over time, was a disconnect. They still live back in Ohio.
Yeah.
So they lived with my mom, but they didn't really have, our dad wasn't around because he passed away. And so they had to make a lot of decisions.
Yeah.
I think out of desperation or not knowing what to do. And they just stayed in school and they took on student loans. And in Ohio, where the economy really hasn't recovered really at all, they're 45 minutes outside Detroit. We all know how that is. They were stuck taking on more student loans because they didn't want to exit school to pay back the student loans. But then they're in jobs, and then they're stuck in those jobs because they don't have job world experience. So my why is to establish myself and be able to sort of take them out of that vicious cycle of incurring more debt and
The ripple effect.
Right. Taking them out of that and giving them an opportunity or a chance and showing them that you don't have to just put up with it. You're not stuck in any position. You can move somewhere else, get a job somewhere else, do something that creates steps moving forward. So one of my twin sisters, I just moved her out here to Arizona. It's not because I like her more than the other one. It's just the other one is a little bit slower to take on some of that risk. But I encouraged her, and I've had a fantastic year. I'm very blessed. I've been able to help support her transition from Ohio out here, got her set up in a job that's stable. She has the benefits. It's a great stepping stone out here, taking care of her living situation, so she doesn't have to worry about that.
Yeah.
And so I keep working hard to help them with their loans. I was fortunate I didn't have to incur a lot of loans like some students. I have a little bit, but paying off all of that for them to help them see that there is a better future than what they're at back in Ohio.
So your why is your legacy, teaching that to your family, and being a life changer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love it. Well said.
Yes. Well, I'm good with my words. I want to talk about your motto, and I'll give you mine. Through home ownership, I help families who have been through hardships start a new chapter. That is my motto. Doesn't matter what you've been through. I want to give you that foundation and those bubbles of joy. What is your motto?
One of the mottos, I have a few. My favorite one, though, we touched on it earlier. Luxury is about service, not about price. And for me, that resonates deep within my heart and my soul and how I approach every transaction with every client every single day.
Yeah. Yeah. Love it. Todd.
What is my motto?
Yeah. Like
Well,
I mean, obviously there's many
Every day
written.
is for winning by noon.
There you go. It's right on the bottle, people.
I brought a prop unintentionally.
What does winning by noon mean?
Most people in sales get into sales to set their own schedule, and that's exactly the reason they fail. And so for me, what I found was my biggest successes came, I was crystal clear on what I had to do, but I always got distracted by other people's priorities that were really important but not urgent. And I just put what I needed to do to grow my business to be the best I could be for the client who was expecting a follow-up call, for the realtor who had referred the client, was expecting me to follow up with their client, for that client who wanted a home, for my family, for my legacy. And what I found is that I had the most energy in the morning, 80% of people do. And if I actually focused that time in, was super intentional around my priorities and did the most important things that drove that business forward first, then I was way more successful.
Yeah.
And in a market where not much else had changed, I grew my business 45% in a year with just that one change. I blocked my calendar till 11:30, but win by noon sounds much cooler.
Yes, it does. And that honestly has been a wild success for you, not only because in many ways you are a coach for real estate agents and their teams, and this has become a tool which we'll be adding to the Culhane Excellence Academy. We'll talk more on that later. Why is it so important to try to instill that in a new agent early on?
Well, I think you just need to have discipline. You need to know what's important to you in your business. And then you also need to figure out, once you know where you're trying to go, you have to figure out what activities do I have to do today if at the end of the year I want to close X number of transactions, help X number of families into their new home. And I often find that most people, regardless of the industry in sales, feel that they're just going to magically get there. And I'm a big believer in vision, and I know that when I've set my vision high and that if I'm crystal clear on what those steps are, I'm more likely to get there. But what I find is that it's a whole lot easier if I know exactly how many doors do I have to knock in order to get one of those folks to list their home with me. If I know how many calls do I have to make in order to actually get a conversation with a client on the phone, in order to get a loan application, to get a closed transaction down the road, that helps. And, again, not everyone wants to get so nerdy and so clinical around the numbers, but in the end, anyone who has some more clarity around where they're trying to go tends to get there a little bit easier with less frustration, because you already said it, super stressful in this business. And at the end of the year, especially if you have financial stress, I think that's oftentimes one of the hardest things for folks. And a little bit of planning goes a long way.
I love it. I do want to do what I call the mortgage meltdown.
Yeah, that scared me when you said that. I'm like, all right, that was like a decade ago. What's going on today? I better take a drink first.
What do you got in there? You going to pass it around?
Well, I did notice in the green room there was some tequila, but
It's gone now.
John, damn it. So the mortgage meltdown is basically a story of what the dumb things that people do to mess up just before either you, again, need to pre-qual or just before closing. And Jeff, do you have a story that, maybe something happened and you don't have to name names, but it didn't close because someone bought a car?
Yeah, you hit the nail on the head. I had a client, first-time home buyer. It was a referral from a good friend of mine, and they were looking at a townhouse in Scottsdale, and it was tight, right? Mm-hmm. And my lender told her, just sit, just chill, stay home, don't do anything. She was in a transition point in her life where she got a big promotion and advancement in her career, so she wanted to celebrate that. And she'd had the same car since college. It was literally ran into the ground. She also wanted to get a new place. All of that. We said, just sit on it, wait, let us get you into the house. You think you see a great deal on a car. It's the car you've been wanting. I promise you,
it was only available that day.
Yes.
Yeah.
If you leave here,
right?
it won't be there tomorrow. I can tell you, I've bought enough cars and everything to tell you that there will always be another amazing deal.
Yeah.
She went to the dealership just to look. And sure enough, she saw something that she loved. We gave her the advice. My lender gave her the advice. She went back because the car salesperson told her, I have clients that do this all the time. This won't affect your score that much. Don't worry about it. You should be good.
Famous last words.
You should be good. That's so
You should be good. Not that much.
Yeah.
So she listened to him because this was the best deal. He's never seen a deal like this ever. All the things that they say at a used car lot. And so she ended up buying the car, and she wasn't able to get approved for the financing on that townhouse because she had purchased that car.
Yeah.
So I told her, I said, I hope that car has a big back seat because you're going to be living out of it for the next few months.
Well, and it does happen. And that includes, don't open up a credit card or put anything on it for any reason until you close on that house.
Don't close a credit card, though, either. I think that's the one
right
that,
on that one.
What the challenge with the FICO system is it lacks common sense. And so oftentimes that's where people get the most frustrated.
Yeah.
And, we recently had that happen where clients sold one of their rental properties to save up for the down payment for their new construction home, and they ended up closing 2 credit cards, and they were shocked that it mysteriously dropped their credit score over 50 points. But it's the age of your credit is a percentage, the available credit and the percentage of usage. And so luckily for them, there was plenty of time to get them back on track, but they were super shocked by that. But purchasing is the biggest one, right? Adding debt is the other biggest one.
Yep.
And Todd, you are an expert because I work with a lot of, let's face it, challenged buyers, but you find those solutions for them. And sometimes it could take months, maybe even a year, but that is something you specialize in. You really look at what that client needs to do to improve their credit scores for them to become homeowners.
You have to be passionate about the effort it takes to do that. I was actually, when I was pulling up in here, I was talking to a woman who's I shouldn't throw under the bus. She's a win-by-noon user at another state, and she said that it was a waste of her time, her first-time home buyer seminars, because of the number of clients she had declined and put into credit repair.
Yeah.
Total glass half empty. And I said, well, gosh, what about the success stories you had there? I said, I also saw that you gave me all the people you had closed from there. I said, it seems to me like you're focused on the wrong piece of it, the negative, not the positive.
Yes. Oh my gosh, that's so important. So my coach, Brian Culhane, he always, sometimes even me, I'll get in my head and I'm like, I can't do this anymore. I don't have the time to do it. And he's like, it's your mindset. Just switch your mindset and make it, yes, the glass is half full. And take it from there. And yes, you do that in spades. I love that.
Well, I appreciate that. And I mean, the biggest challenge with credit challenged borrowers is they tend to be in denial, right? And so that's, if we love helping anyone who comes to us who truly says, hey, you know what, this is what I've done and it is what it is, and I want to make changes, and it could take a long time. And so it's just a matter of determining what process is the best, right?
Yeah.
So when our team pulls credit, there's a way through the FICO simulator that we use. So it's an actual FICO simulator for the team to actually tell someone, here's what you need to do in this amount of time to get your score to here. Fairway has an internal credit services group called Credit Tools, so we can put some folks in there. And then we also use a local external credit repair company for folks who need a little extra heavy lifting. And so there's different options because there's no one size fits all. But in the end, I tend to find that most of the time when someone has credit that's not where they hope to be, they're too embarrassed to call. And or they wait till the last minute, and at the last minute it's just too late to really make impact
Yeah.
and change. And it's frustrating when someone comes and they can't get there because they have other financial challenges, but it's so rewarding when someone comes along, you lay out the plan, and then they go from living in the backseat of their car or townhouse or whatever it was to, that finally becoming homeowners. I mean, that's
Love
what
it.
you do, right? Some
Yep.
bubbles of joy for them and a new
what I do.
foundation.
Gratification, and that's awesome.
Free. Tell them again who you are and who you work for and how they can get a hold of you, and that's for everyone here.
Jeffrey Serpa, an agent with Keller Williams, Arizona Realty. You can find me on Instagram, social media, #Serpa Certified.
Oh, that's awesome.
I like that.
And what else do I tell them?
Your phone number. If that's enough, then you guys have the contact.
There it is.
Todd Bookspan, and if you're looking to become more productive, check out Win by Noon, or if you're looking for a mortgage, check out the Bookspan Baker team at Fairway Independent Mortgage.
It is not what you go through, it is how you come through it. Tenacious T.
I'm not heading for the stars, driving down the boulevard at night. Playing Coldplay on repeat, watching people on the street as I go by. And it doesn't even matter to me where I go, I just feel I need to take a ride. Got my coffee cup to go, and I'm gonna hit the road.